Remember, kids, never take your eyes off the road, not even for a second. Otherwise, you might have to hide away in an AI house with some spoopy happenings, like in Romi, a Tubi original, and a Superfuse Channel original. I don't know what the fuck Superfuse Channel is, but nevertheless, they're making original content. Good for them. This comes to us from director Robert Cuffley, who did Bright Hill Road, and writer Susie Maloney, who did Bright Hill Road. They also did other projects. You can check out the respective IMDb pages for the full listens of their work. And this centers around Maddie, who does something monumentally stupid in the opening couple minutes of this movie, and then is hidden away in an AI house that apparently is just absolutely fabulous. It's absolutely captivatingly just technologically impressive. Actually pretty good architecture, and there's a man named Hertig that runs it. And there's also a techie guy named Barkley that helps keep, the AI Romi going. Romi, if you want to, Romi around the world. And Maddie has to basically hide away because of the stupid shit that she did, taking no responsibility. Her mother said, okay, you did this, go over here. And I'll talk about what that thing is in the spoilers, even though, honestly, the whole thing that happened in the beginning really has no basis on at least half of the shit that happens in this movie. And look, when it comes to Tubi originals, you can be surprised. I mean, there are some great horror content, related movies that have popped up on that streaming service in the past few years. There have been some that have been okay. There have been some that have been, holy fucking shit, what the fuck were they thinking? And unfortunately, Romi kind of falls in that category. Not a halfway bad idea, but it sort of reminded me of the movie Tim, T-I-M. Except Tim at least had Georgina Campbell in it. And I have nothing against Alexa Barras. I hope I pronounced that correctly. But she ain't no Georgina Campbell. And I will tell you what this movie isn't, and that's any fucking good. One, it's very obvious where it's going from the beginning. Two, you have no sympathy for the main character because of the aforementioned thing that they do in the opener. And none of the characters are really fully fleshed out. And also, any kind of mystery going on with this house, it's very fucking obvious what's going on. So sure, you mostly spend time in the house and looking outside the house. You get one new location a little bit later on in the movie, and other than that, that's really all you fucking get. It's on Tubi if you want to check it out. It is not good at all. In fact, it gets really goddamn goofy and comedic in the last 30 or so minutes, to the point that I was thinking this movie has to be a fucking parody. That being said, Tubi is an ad-based streaming service. Free stuff. Check it out if you want to. 3, 2, 1. Haha. Spoilers. Okay, so she hits somebody, a jogger, on an interstate, a state highway or something. She's driving pretty fast and looking for her phone. And then she hits a jogger. Now, maybe this is just a standard road, I don't know, but the way they made that look, even with the terrible green screen effects, it looked like she was on some kind of state highway, somebody's jogging, she hits them, even though it doesn't look like she hit a body at all, and that body slides down her windshield, and then the mother basically says, okay, go to this house, I know people, go here, there's this guy Hertig, who lost his wife Irina, and she basically disappeared. And nobody can find her. Almost like maybe she never left the goddamn house. She never left the house, by the way. She never left the house. Hertig used her voice to voice Romi. Or Romi. Romi, I think is how it's pronounced. R-O-M-I. In case you didn't see the fucking title before you clicked on this. Or in case you just clicked on and then instantly sustained several major head injuries. Much like everybody involved in this movie. Because character-wise, there's nobody worth rooting for, as I said. But there's a tech guy, Barkley, and he seems all nice and everything, even buys her weed, and also Maddie's on a bunch of meds for panic attacks because, she fucking killed somebody, or at least somebody's in a hospital. Her mother occasionally calls her. The phone's all staticky because this has to be Canadian. This has to be in, some Canadian province. I mean, I don't know, it just something about this movie screams Canada. That's not a bad thing, because there are some great movies that were filmed in Canada. This wasn't one of them, if it happened to have been filmed in Canada. Wherever it was filmed, that state really should, quite frankly, run them out of town, because this was bad. Sadly, it might not even crack the top 10 worst movies that I've seen this year. And I am only in the middle of March. So, who's paying for all this stuff is what I wonder. What does Hurtig do? He's a tech designer, rich guy. Loved his wife, Irina. I mean, I saw the woman that played Irina. She has a gorgeous smile. She is a very beautiful woman. Jamie Shilnitz, if I got that wrong, I apologize. And then Romi ends up enjoying the house. She's enjoying the house, except for the fact that Romi keeps malfunctioning. And Barkley instantly shows her a way to shut off the thing by waving her hand over this, like, pad to enter this secret laboratory. That's just right there. I don't know why it made me laugh so goddamn much, but it was just goddamn hilarious. But the thing about a movie like this, you rely on the strength of a couple characters, to carry this thing, even if it's a basic premise. And that only works if you have fucking characters, and this movie doesn't. And any layers that it tries to add, it doesn't work. Maddie is seemingly haunted by ghosts of the past, the person she hit. Every call with her mother is basically dismissive. I'm trying to run for re-election of what? I don't fucking know. And Barkley is an odd one. Spoiler, Barkley is the one that was causing all this. What's causing all this? Who wins? That's a deep cut for wrestling fans. So, some birds fly into the goddamn windows because the house is magnetically charged with magnets and electricity and shit like that, and it throws the birds off. That's good. Let's kill off wildlife. So, they kind of try to do a red herring thing where Hurtig says to her, hey, you kind of remind me a bit of my wife. The dog shit jump scares actually were trying my patience. And here's the thing. Bright Hill Road, based on what I read, actually sounds like a halfway decent horror project, and I might check that out. But this just felt very hacked out and safe, while trying to also do a few violent things that really kick in the third act. The problem is even by the time the third act, admittedly, is a little bit hilarious, you checked out of the goddamn movie. I actually said, hey, what if Romi ended up, becoming sentient, like that movie that Danielle Harris voiced an AI program in, and I watched it literally a month ago, and I forgot about it. Two guys were in an airplane hangar. It wasn't good at all. But anyway, she's getting messages from the dead, seemingly the person she hit, and all this stuff. And she has issues with her meds and passes out, has a panic attack. And Hurtig is weird and creepy. Barkley is more creepy. And then Hurtig mentions, hey, you are good for the house because you're like a Slater, somebody that interferes with electronics and connects with them and everything and causes streetlights to go out and whatever. And okay, what does this have to do with... There are ideas and there's no execution. And then by the time we get to the conclusion, you're like, what was the point of all this shit? So, the mother arrives. She decides, hey, somebody got arrested. You're off scot-free. I'm going to come get you. And then somebody hits her in the head, Psycho 2 style, with a shovel. Actually, hits her in the face. Hits somebody else later with a shovel, Psycho 2 style. If you remember Psycho 2, then I love you guys. Also, I've said Psycho 2 so many goddamn times, it's lost all meaning. So, that was a dog shit movie, by the way. Terrible follow-up. Hilarious, but terrible follow-up to the first one. So yeah, the mother's taken out. And then it turns out it's Barkley. It was Barkley doing all this. Why? Because he's a good guy and women like her ask for it. No, really, he basically said that. And I'm not talking about the actor, I'm talking about the character. I'm sure the actor's a nice guy that is a friend to all woodland creatures and friend to all alien, beings that come down, and is friend of children. Gamera is full of meat. Gamera is really neat. We all love Gamera. But she ends up trying to run away. She falls down a whole 3 steps when he grabs her foot. I mean, she was punched in the face, so maybe she has a head injury. Not that you'd be able to tell with the way the character acts. And she had a drill with her and drilled into his gut. And he had to tape it up with duct tape that he just found laying around. He's chasing her around in the garage. Then she's suddenly trying to guess the password. he referenced something a little bit earlier with a girlfriend of his that went to all these Renaissance fairs, and he went all decked out with a thing called King Barkley, which is important, because I bet you Irina was into all that stuff. He felt that he could do something good, and he decided to go with her, and then did the whole King Barkley thing, because we never actually see his girlfriend. I'm assuming he killed her, or she died of boredom. Probably the latter. But she guesses King Barkley, she's about to get out, and then all the moody red lighting comes back, and then Irina's ghost shows up and kills him. Like, I don't want you, and then Maddie stabs him with a shovel. The mother's dead, by the way, I assume. I assume the mother's dead. And also there was this overriding thing where she loved this Roomba and put googly eyes on it and called it Henry. And she's hugging the Roomba. There's only Roomba for one in my life. And then she confesses to her hit and run. Garbage. Sorry. It was terrible. F. Fucking terrible. Had ideas, no execution. And Barkley being the person behind this whole thing, when Irina's corpse was in the wall this whole time, really wasn't surprising. The movie is simultaneously too busy and also way too slow and pointless. So yeah, F, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Riplin. I'll see you soon.